We're stopped at the TA Meridian, Mississippi to have some lunch. So tell me about how the time change and here we're taking our 30-minute break. So we'll have an interview outside the truck. How the time change and the change in altitude affects your load and your freight.
Well, the time change is you're going to lose or gain time on your routing, so you have to count that in your trip plan. Plus, it's changing your time zones, so it's kind of like on slow onset jet lag as you're driving around from California to the East Coast in a 3-hour time change.
So you're constantly dealing with jet lag.
Once you do it a couple thousand times, it kind of goes away. But yeah,
A couple thousand times.
your body kind of picks a time zone to stay in, and you just stay there.
And 1 hour time change probably is not as big a difference. When you go all the way up to California and 3-hour time change,
Right.
that's going to be a big change, and that's going to affect your sleeping schedule too.
And then the fun part is, like Florida and Oregon, certain parts of Florida and certain parts of Oregon are only 1 hour apart instead of being 3 hours apart. Because you have Western Florida that's in the central time zone, and you have Eastern Oregon that's in the mountain time zone. So even though they're both touching both sides of the country, they're only 1 hour apart.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so going from one end of the country like that to the other, that's got to affect what the freight that you might be carrying too, because you're going from like Florida, hot, humid, down south up to high altitude, Colorado, things like that. So how does that affect what you're carrying?
Well, if it's a produce load out of California, it's fresh produce that has to hurry to get there. That's why they send it by truck instead of by train. Temperature has to be right, everything has to be right, packaging has to be right. And sometimes when you go into altitude, some of the packaging, the airbags in between the crates or whatever the product is packaging can blow up if you go over altitudes. Certain candies, ice creams, potato chip bags, things like that. Even though you carry them frozen, the entrapped air in like Three Musketeers, if you climb up over a mountain, that entrapped air can blow up inside that candy and crack the candy while you're en route, and then you don't know about it until somebody goes to the store and buys it, and they're like, what happened to my candy? Did somebody step on this? And they go take it back.
Gotcha. So when we get those cracked candy bars, we know what's happened.
Right.
What about when the chocolate turns white? Is that the same? You know, sometimes you get a candy bar and the chocolate will have a little bit of white on it. Is that affected by
I
that?
have no idea about it.
Maybe that just means it's old. I don't know.
Probably.
Okay, so those potato chip bags, you know, we know they're filled with air, so they can get like really big and explode because of the altitude difference.
Right.
Tell me about ice cream.
Ice cream does the same thing, because ice cream is nothing but milk whipped up air and frozen. And so when you carry a container of ice cream, if you go up in the mountains too fast, you can blow the lid off of the ice cream. And not only does it make a big old mess, but that makes it into a very expensive load, because now you bought it all. So when you come out of, say, Arizona, when you come out of Phoenix and you're going towards Denver with a load of Haagen-Dazs, even though you can make that drive in a day and a piece, you have to stop early 2 days to pass time so that the product in the back has time to adjust to the altitude without it blowing apart.
Now, does it tell you that on your shipping information? It tells you how to do that, or is that just something you learn along the way?
It'll always tell that on your special handling instructions on your bills.
Okay.
Your broker or your shipper might tell you, but you know, if you're paying attention, you'll realize it.
Okay. And so it might tell you, you said something a couple of days ago about you might have to take a southern route on some things if
Right.
you're coming. It might tell you you're going to have to take maybe twice as long to get somewhere to keep from changing altitude and elevation so quickly.
Topeka, when I load certain candies out of Topeka, Kansas. Instead of just running right across Kansas to Flagstaff over into California, I have to drop all the way down to Amarillo and then over, because I have to avoid the 9,500 foot mountain in Flagstaff that'll ruin the candy.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's not just getting stuff thrown into the trailer, hammer down, and off you go. You've got to pay attention to special instructions, see if you need to take a different route. So you're making sure that the load is getting there the way that it's supposed to get there.
In the condition it's supposed to
In the
get there.
condition it's supposed to be there. So there's a lot to think about. All right, great information. Thank you, Mr. Craig.